Hey, it's Lisa. Welcome to the channel. So this is my first video for my new channel, the Unhinged Woman Book Club. Obviously for the title of the video, you know why I'm starting it, but I'm also starting it for me. I love books, I love reading, I love writing, I love all things books and bookish things. I've actually been watching booktube for a really long time, and I've always wanted to, well, I shouldn't say I've always wanted to start a booktube channel, but it's always been in the back of my mind to, you know, become involved with the community and be a part of the book community, because I love it. And so I thought, what a better way to start than with the newbie book tag, new booktube newbie tag. Is that the name of it? So yeah, I've got some questions. I've got my favorite tea, which is, it's so mainstream. It's Celestial Seasonings Bengal Spice. I call it tiger tea for like obvious reasons. It's cheap, but it's so good. It's so good. It's like cinnamon and all these little worms, cloves, and all these wonderful spices. It's wonderful. So I thought, yeah, we'll just get into it. So why did I start this channel? Again, for obvious reasons. I was dating a man who was a bit older than me, like almost 20 years older than me. And yeah, he recently said he couldn't be in a relationship with his recent health issues, and we hadn't been seeing each other that long. I've been rather heartbroken. I've been quite upset for the last almost week. So, you know, what's a better way than to put those emotions into a passion that I already have and do something creative and, you know, do something good with it. And so here we go. I'm gonna start a booktube channel. I do have another YouTube channel. Another hobby I have is triathlon, so I have a whole other triathlon page. But you know, they're quite different hobbies. So yeah, so that's why I'm starting this channel. I love booktube. I love the community. I want to be a big part of it. And I got dumped, and I need something to do with to occupy my occupy my space and my time. Number two, what is anything fun or unique you could bring to YouTube? Fun. I don't know. I don't know about fun. I do think I'm a little bit funny. I could bring a little bit of humor. But maybe unique would be my age. All the YouTubers, or most of the YouTubers I watch, are quite a bit younger than me. I'm probably old enough to be most of the average YouTuber's mother. So you know, I've been reading a really long time, and over the decades I've read many different genres, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, maybe just a little bit of different perspective from someone who's been a long time and a lifetime reader. I don't consider myself a voracious reader, like, you know, I see YouTubers that read like 100, 150, 200 books a year. I'm definitely not anywhere near that. Like, I did set some goals this year to read some, increase my reading, but I don't think it'll get to the point where it's, you know, crazy. I do work full time. I'm a single parent. Like I said, I do triathlon. So I've got all these other things going on. So, you know, I just want to increase the amount of books that I do consume, and the genres that I do read, and have a nice creative outlet to do that within. So yeah. What am I most excited about for this channel? I'm excited, like I said, to just be a part of the community. You know, everybody on here is generally so warm. And you know, another big reason, not only did I get dumped, but like only a couple days after, I found out one of my favorite, I shouldn't say one of my favorite YouTube content creator passed away. So that was Jennifer Brooks, and I've been watching her for years, and you know, I've learned so much from her, watching her. I loved her style of delivery, her no nonsense contribution, just her intelligence. And she was so young. So, you know, part of me is inspired by her and motivated by her. Not that I'm anything like her, or continuing on or any of that stuff, but you know, I think yeah, I'm gonna miss her content. And you know, I thought, you know, why not? Let's just do it. It can be excited. So I'm excited about this whole journey. I'm excited about expanding my reading genres and maybe reading more of the genres that I do actually like, and yeah, getting into all that. Why do you love reading? Well, I mean, I'm sure it's what everybody says. It's escapism, it's but it's also learning for me too. I do read a pretty good balance of fiction and nonfiction. I do also write poetry, and I love reading poetry. So these are, you know, some other things I love to do. You know, I've always, my mother was a reader. Like I would put her in that, you know, avid reader basket. My mother always had several books on the go. There was always books laying around in different rooms of the house and in the bathroom, and they'd get dropped in the tub and they'd get all fanned and wrinkly looking. And I just grew up around books, so they've always just been a part of me, and I just love reading and writing, and you know, just integrating that into my life. What book or series got you into reading? So this is a harder question. I didn't write down answers because I just thought, you know, I don't want to sit here and just read a script. So I would say, you know, from a young age, I remember reading books in elementary school and through high school. There was, you know, of course, the mandatory reading. I remember we had to read The Outsiders in high school and various other, you know, popular books of the day. And I wouldn't even say that those really got me into reading. I didn't get into like reading a little bit more until, I'd say, even after I graduated from university. Of course, when you're in university, at least for me, I mean, I didn't have time to, you know, read for fun. I could barely keep up with the course syllabus and the reading materials that we were required to do. So I would say it was after I finished university and started working, I had a little bit more time, so I started reading you know, Patricia Cornwell books. Like I think that was her last name. She's very popular, you know, kind of mystery, or you know, the Kay Scarpetta, you know, series, I would say, that really got me. I read all those, and the Hannibal Lecter, you know, all of those books when they were coming out, I read all those. And Stephen King, you know, I find him to be a really good storyteller. You know, not that I'm a big, huge, like, you know, Stephen King. Well, I am a Stephen King fan, let's be honest. You know, I'm unapologetic about that. Like, you know, some of his stuff is a little bit weird for me, but especially his older kind of catalogs, I've quite enjoyed. So I do have a number of Stephen King books that did get me into reading. I don't read him or these other authors so much anymore. Definitely evolved, but yeah, so those are the types of books that kind of got me into reading, and yeah, it just became kind of part of my life. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Oh yeah, so I mean, like, just finding that balance about how do you read so many books a year. And I know there's a bazillion videos about how they do read or listen or consume bookish content. So I do try to emulate some of that, you know, or how to tackle, you know, new genres, or things like, I don't know, things like that. I guess I could have looked up an answer or figured out an answer for that one, but yeah, so I would just like, how do you keep your books organized? You know, there's a practical side to YouTube as well, is where do we put all our stuff, and how do you, like, I like watching videos about, you know, organization content, how people store their books, what books they choose to unhaul. I certainly, you know, do all that, and, you know, I do keep my collection quite culled. I live in a very small space, so I don't have room. I don't have an office. I don't have extra space to like line the walls with shelves. So I do have a very curated, keep the best of the best kind of things, and everything else I do eventually let go. So, you know, those are the types of questions like, how do you make decisions around what to keep and what to not, especially if you live in a small or a tiny space like I do. What challenges do you, to starting a booktube will you need to overcome? I think just consistency for me. Like I said, I'm a pretty busy person with my job and with my, you know, I do write and read a lot for a living, but it's very technical and it's very specific, you know, and just balancing out what my other hobbies that I enjoy doing and life, single parenting to a teenage son, these types of things. So I think just being consistent and you know, I'm not going to be able to, you know, put out a lot of content, but I do want to be consistent about what I do. When I did start a new reading journal, I'll do a separate video on it. I started a separate bullet journal for 2024, and I've got it all set up, and it's delightful. So I did put a section in the back for YouTube, so I'm hoping that this will help keep me focused and help me overcome any challenges I might have with starting this YouTube channel. When did I start reading? Okay, I think I kind of answered that. Like I said, I started back in school reading the curriculum, required, you know, different types of reads that we had to do in English class. So, you know, I remember reading even back in elementary school, going to the library and taking out different books, like the one with the rabbit and Potter or something like that. I'm not Harry Potter. I'm older than that. I remember as an adult, I was working when Harry Potter came out, and I just remember hearing all the rage around that. And I did read all the Twilight stuff. I was, you know, I was pregnant with my son when all those books came out. I read all that. So, you know, those books definitely got me back into reading. But, you know, early on, there were, you know, just the children's classics. God, am I old enough to say that I was reading the classics before they were like classics? Yeah, I guess I am. Whatever. It's okay, fine. Let's continue. Where do I read? Where do I read? I really just read my living room here. I don't live in a big space. Like, my whole place is about 700 square feet. My entire main living area is only about 225 square feet. So, and it's like my office, it's my kitchen, it's my dining room, it's my living room, it's where I store my triathlon bikes, it's my front entrance. It's, you know, there's a lot going on in this little space, and I do read in here. I don't have like a little book corner or a designated room where I read or keep my books. I don't have any of that. I will read in bed. I try to read before I go to bed. You know, instead of scrolling, or, you know, occasionally if I'm too tired or I don't feel like it, I will watch booktube or YouTube in general. But in the summer, I'll read out on the patio. Occasionally, I used to read in coffee shops, or I even read a bar. I met a guy once at a bar. And he sat down, or he was already sitting there, and I came and sat beside him, and my son was in some pottery class, and I had just enough time to go like, I'm gonna take myself out and have a craft brew. And so I went down the street to the craft brew house, and the hostess sat me down next to this guy, and he was reading a book, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And I then proceeded to pull out a book next to him. And so I'm like, I thought I was the only one that read in a bar. I did go on a date with him once, but didn't go anywhere. That's another topic. But anyway, he was really nice. I did like him, but you know. What kind of books do you like to read? Top 3 genres, I would say, well, obviously the name of this book channel is called the Unhinged Woman Book Club. So, you know, I love reading a good book about some unhinged women and some crazy things going on. And that could just be the woman herself, family drama, you know, any kind of fiction or subgenre of fiction around family dynamics, historical fiction, Unhinged Women definitely are my favorites. As far as historical fiction, I will kind of dabble a little bit and stuff like around World War II and stuff like that, but I'm not a heavy World War II book reader. I like reading feminist literature, including non-fiction works. I recently read an amazing book on this. I'll do a review on it. Like, everybody's got to read this. I like reading philosophy and poetry. I do read a variety of non-fiction as well, related to health, and health science, of course, is part of supports my other hobbies around being a triathlete and being generally try to be healthy in general. So yeah, I read quite a variety. I'd say the things that I don't read that much are romance. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just bitter because I just got dumped, but maybe I'll find my way to some romance this year, like literary romance. I think I'm done with actual romance for a little while. So I don't read a lot of that. I have a little bit of science fiction. Like, I read the first book in the Crescent City series, but I own the second one and I haven't read it yet, and the third one's coming out like really soon. I'm thinking, oh my god, I need to catch up, and because I really did enjoy the first book. But I don't read a lot of science fiction. I do read some horror. Like I said, I did like Stephen King, or do like some of his new stuff, not all of it. And I do, you know, Imaginary Friends is one of my favorite books ever by Stephen Chbosky, and yeah, stuff like that. I like things like that. And that's about it. Another big thing that I'm reading this year, and I'm not sure what genre to put this in, but I'm reading the Bible. I've never read the Bible before. I wasn't raised in Christianity. I wasn't raised in the church or any of that kind of stuff. But a part of me, well, it was actually Jenny Brooks's channel. She, you know, because she loved Dante so much, so she inspired me to read Dante. So I want to read Dante, the Divine Comedy, and she recommended books about what to read along with that to enhance your Dante experience. And one of the books she recommended was the Bible. And she's like, do you need to read the whole Bible to do this? No, absolutely not. But I thought, well, it's kind of a bold challenge, and so I kind of just wanted to read it for that reason and to see what all the fuss was about. So I think I'm in 1 Samuel. I had to like orient myself. All I knew was Jesus was in the back, Noah was in the front, there was some poetry spread in the middle. Really, that's all I knew. I've got myself more oriented to it now, so clearly I'm in the version I have anyway. I'm like about 350 pages in. It's like probably 1,300 pages long. I'm not sure how long the edition is that I have, but I am picking my way through that, and one of my goals is to read through that for the rest of this year. I was making really good progress up until Christmas, and then life got busy, and then I got dumped, so I haven't been back to it yet. And what does your book collection look like? So I'll insert some footage here of just what I've got. So I basically have I have one main bookcase in my bedroom. It's the only place in my space for it. It's quite curated at this point. I just did a really big book on haul during Christmas. I did the annual Christmas purge in my house. So, I sold the juicer I never used. I sold the Instapot I never used, and a bunch of other stuff. And of course I sold my ring light. Now I'm kind of going, maybe I should have kept that. It's okay. I didn't really have room for it. So, and I've done my whole triathlon channel without a ring light, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, I'll hopefully have some footage to insert of that. So it's quite curated right now, and some space. I did recently pick up some new books to kind of launch off my Unhinged Women reading era that I've entered into, because I did read Year Rest and Relaxation by Odessa Moshfegh. I think I read that actually a couple of years ago. It don't come out, I can't remember when it came out, but I think I read it before it was out, like, I don't know, I can't remember. I read it not long after I think it was published, and I loved it. I loved it. And And so that's kind of got me into it. So I've been kind of dabbling my way through this subgenre in fiction, and you know, I'm in for it. I'm here for it. I drank the tea. I'm all in. So yeah, so that's the book collection. I do have some other books in these cabinets right here, kind of down at the end. That's in there's all my classics. I do read classics. I didn't even say that. I do read classics. I haven't read enough of them. I seem to enjoy buying and collecting them, but I need to, oh crap, I just burnt myself. I need to start reading them. So that's another thing I want to do is I hope that this channel will help spur me into reading more of what I already own. I actually made a list in my reading journal of the 24 books that I want to read in 2024 that I already own, like that I already own. So I made a list of those books and I've already read 2 of them. So here we go, and it's just the start of January. So I feel like I'm off to a good start. And I can do like, I'll do a wrap-up video and all that kind of stuff later this month about all the books I read and my goals and my reading targets for the year. It's a very, for me, I said I want to read 50 books this year, which for me is quite ambitious. I usually don't read that many books. I think the most I've ever read a year, like 15 or 20. So I'm not like this crazy big reader like I was saying, but I want that to change and I want this channel to be a part of that story. So that's it. That's me. Yeah, I really hope you like this video. If you do, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you want to hang out and watch me work my way through some Unhinged Women books, give you my thoughts or reviews on those, as well as trudging my way through the Bible and a variety of other things and genres. So that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Okay, before I go, hello. I wanted to get the footage of my book storage and my bookcase. So this is my main bookcase in my room. It's a solid wood bookcase from IKEA, and it is, I love it. It's great. And yes, that is a real skunk pelt. My father passed away a year and a half ago. He was an avid hunter, fisher, trapper. I'm sorry if that offends people, but it's the most unique thing I think I inherited from his house. So you know, I have a skunk pelt. He's actually quite big. Anyway, squirrel. So yeah, so nothing is organized in like genre by color or even fiction and nonfiction. I've kind of got some main things, like I've got kind of like self-improvement and some philosophy up here, a couple classics, miscellaneous fiction, a little nonfiction. Here's the Bible that I'm reading. I'll do a tour of that if you guys are interested. Some classics, more Bible resources. These are some blank journals I haven't used yet. This is my poetry collection. These are Russian classics. It's actually more organized than I thought. And then I've got softcover fiction and then hardcover fiction. There may be some oh, and there's more Bibles down there, another, like some resources and stuff. Because I'm new and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I got some more stashed around. I'll show you those. Okay, so this is the pile on my dresser. I'm also an artist. I do drawing, painting and stuff. But here's a little stack of books that I've recently acquired. So these are a lot of the Unhinged Women books I've kind of pulled and put together. And then just some other books that picked up. Oh, I just picked this up. Oh man, I want to read this. The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. Family drama. I'm here for it. And then this is a book of Jane Austen's, all her complete novels, a bind up. And I'm actually in a friend's book club. We're reading Pride and Prejudice. I've never read Jane Austen. I've never read Pride and Prejudice. So that's changing. I'm chapter 6 or 7, 6. I think I'm about to start chapter 6. And yeah, we're doing a week, every week we get together on Zoom and we're going to discuss, and then we're going to read the book through to the end of, or to the beginning of March, and then we're gonna go see a play because her local playhouse is putting on a Jane Austen play. So I got one more stash of books and then we'll wrap it all up. Okay, and like I said, in my cabinets here in my main living area, this is actually full of books. This is not organized at all. So I've got cookbooks and some triathlon and athlete books in here, more cookbooks, some classics mixed in with more cookbooks. This is what's left of my Stephen King collection. I did cull my Stephen King collection down quite a bit. I got rid of a lot of the books that I knew I'd never read again, or I was never going to get to, or they just, you know, weren't my favorites, or weren't, you know, they weren't my favorites, so I let them go. And I've got more classics. Like I've got a bunch of black, this is double, everything's in, this is all double. There's more Stephen King, but these are all my Penguin Black Spines in here. And then I've got some of these ones with the stripes. They're very pretty. I don't own very many of those. I've got these really beautiful editions of Charles Dickens, a couple of his books. Never read those yet. So that's one thing about this booktube channel, is I just want to be motivated and inspired to get through a lot of these books that I haven't picked up yet. Yeah, and there's even stuff up on top in here. So lots of reading. All right. Thanks so much. And I'll say goodbye. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today and welcoming me to the booktube community, and I hope to see you in the chats. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do some content in this month about what I'm reading, my reading plans and goals for 2024, and all that fun stuff. I'm looking forward to it. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.